Match 3 here at the Pairs Cup is just about ready to go. The two pairs that lost their opening games are about to battle it out in a must-win matchup. Viv and Vivek, they just had a couple of golden breaks thrown at them, and they've just tasted defeat. Lakesh and Ian lost in the first match. You have to say, both pairs have had chances they weren't able to take, really. You certainly feel that Vic and Vivek should have won that first frame. They got off to a sluggish start in their match, and it just got away from them.
And it's probably the fourth or fifth slug rack we've had tonight. The ref's struggling to get the balls tight. They're not actually bad breaks, or certainly not as bad a breaks as it's making it out to be. Balls are not touching. Sometimes they just don't break properly and leave a gap in the middle of the pack. It leaves the pack together and just the end balls come away, and the rest just almost slug apart.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we've had a number of tough layouts because of it tonight.
We'll definitely see a loss of turn here. And this then puts the Reds in a huge position. I like the way he's played that also. The red that's on the rail, okay, you can't get to it now because the yellow's on top of it, but that red that's on the rail now passes the one down the cushion. Little things like that are things you do need to think about. Where he bumped that red to over the left middle has left a perfect breaker ball where he can screw down the cushion, which he will play now, and develop that problem red and yellow. Ooh. I'm beginning to look at this, but I don't know if he tried to cheat the pocket a little bit or whether this actually pops back out. Yeah, he tried to cheat the pocket. He missed it. Yeah, that's a poor one from Lucky. Have to make sure you pot the red. This time, Son's the boss. Vic was going to pot the one over the pocket, and Vivek said, no, you have a free go at the one up the rail. And what I mean by a free go is, if you miss it, you're not really leaving anything other than, well, a nasty chop across the back cushion from distance.
Yeah, now they can go and take this frame out.
And in this instance, this is where you would almost work backwards of the clearance. I wouldn't be taking this one. The red that's closest to the 8-ball is a lovely last ball. If you can get straight on that and effectively replace that red with the cue ball, look at where you would leave yourself on the 8-ball. The one he potted first, I think I would have played as my penultimate ball and left that until last, but everybody, of course, sees it differently. The 8-ball isn't a problem, as long as you get the cue ball in the right place, of course. And now they are going to leave the ball I suggested until last. Dead straight is perfect. Nicely played. Played short position into the right middle. So you can literally just drop this in. The cue ball replaces the red. A nicely worked out finish in the end.
Very nice indeed from the Macks, and they get the first frame on the board here. They needed that after the way they started in their first match, but it's no different to last year in terms of they started slowly and made it all the way through to the semi-finals. On that occasion it was a draw, but they had to respond after drawing the first match by winning the next two to make it through, which they were able to do. And they're off to a good start here, something to build on. I think that's the biggest thing in the pairs, is when you lose that first match, is reminding yourself that you still have every real chance of making it through. Just got to win your next two games and hope that things fall your way. Very real chance they can end up in a shootout of some sort, or even straight through if they win the next two. And that goes for both pairs out there right now.
Better rack. Yeah, made a couple of balls, but not necessarily a better split, is it? They're all in this bottom half of the table, which you don't see very often. Some balls did go into the other half of the table, but made their way back down. Not very often you see a break hit with that sort of pace, and effectively only one ball past the middle pocket line, which of course is always going to mean that it's a bit congested.
It's not going to be easy, this.
No, and I think this is definitely one of those situations where you don't have to keep potting balls. You're 1-0 ahead. Okay, I know there's loads of time left, but the percentages say, and that is the right shot, the percentages say you're not going to clear those yellows from there. The percentages say that nobody in the world were going to clear the yellows from there.
A nice touch that from Vivek as well, just standing up, getting in his dad ear and just saying exactly that. Don't need to go for these.
Pool is all about percentages. If you work out, and of course those percentages are different for everybody in different circumstances, depending on how you feel, what the score is, who you're playing. People say, oh, you play the table. You don't always play the table. You play the circumstances, you play the situation, you definitely play the opponent. And all of those things would factor into the percentage of what you think is the right shot at the right time. And if you play those percentages and you play them right, that's why the percentages, they say that you will come out on the right side of them.
For you, do the percentages change depending on who you're playing?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because for an example, you know, if you're playing an amateur pool player, you wouldn't play the same loss of turn shot as you would against one of the top 4 players in the world, because the percentage chance of them clearing from that position is far greater. And you would also play it depending on the score. So, for example, if you were 4-1 ahead, your opponent's missed a couple of balls, you can see he's struggling, you may play a shot that would be very different to if you were playing against someone and you were 4-1 down and you were struggling and you felt as though you needed to get something going, and you're playing against one of the top players in the world, so you don't want to let him back to the all of these things would determine when and how you played certain shots. So without a shadow of a doubt,
I think this is
the circumstances and your opponent.
Yeah, and I think this is a prime example. I think Vic has played a shot there to open up his colour set and knew he was leaving a tough chance on, but right now, you know, Eldridge is absolutely bang up to it. That first shot to the corner was excellent, and he's been in prime position thereafter.
confident finish, isn't it?
This has been by far and away Ian's and his partnership's best moment on the night so far. That was fantastic. It really was excellent to get themselves going in this match. Keeps their chances alive.
And in a best of 7, when you're 1-0 behind, that second frame just feels absolutely huge, doesn't it? Especially if the first one has took quite a bit of time off the match clock. It becomes even more important.
Yeah, 2-0 or 1-1. 2 frame advantage when that match clock ticking down is a good place to be. Well, 1-1 it is though. I like what Vic and Vivek have done with their lineup here. Vivek obviously is the professional in the father-son combination, and therefore the stronger player. They've lined him up to play player 2. And when you're on the right-hand side of the arena, you do get to pick your player 1, player 2 before the match starts. But when they're on the right-hand side of the arena, player 2 plays frame 3, plays in the pairs in frame 4, and plays the individual in frame 5. So the next 3 frames Vivek will be involved in, which is to his partnership's advantage. I wondered if we'd see anybody else go to the cut break, having seen what Dave Fernandez has been doing.
Yeah, this was a poor break all round, because what you're trying to effectively do with the cut break is hit the cue ball into the side cushion and then back into the heart of the pack. Too much screw meant that it ended up hitting the pack too high and fizzing up the table. And he also didn't hit it with much power at all. I know Dave Fernandez didn't hit his with too much power, but that's because he can't.
Yeah, gave it everything he had. So a layout that Vivek wanted nothing to do with. That to me is just Lakesh saying, I want to be yellows here. I don't think he's overly thinking about a finish, unless the yellow in the middle there might go top right, so he might be thinking aggressive here. He certainly is. Every yellow actually has a way. It's just the way you want to connect them up around the cluster in the middle there. And of course you've got the one in the top half to go and deal with at some point. Now maybe the point for that one. This feels like the key shot for them. Well, that's connected one to the other, but not the best of angles. The cue ball's going to be going into the reds, so how does he control it? Needs to be precise with his cannons. Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah, nice shot. Nice shot, but it may need another little cannon, and it will need to be into the 8-ball. It's only a little feather across the edge of it, but he is going to need a cannon, because the 8-ball doesn't pass this bottom left corner, because that red the cue ball's closest to is stopping it, so he is going to have to cannon the 8-ball.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Complete miscue from Lakesh. All that hard work to get through to that stage, and then, oh, he's loading up on this one. Vivek not hanging about here, trying to mop these up. I think Lakesh will be in a bit of shock with what's just happened. He played such a beautiful finish to that point, and then just a complete miscue, costing him his chance of the finish. And Vivek doesn't hang about, gets them on the board, back in front. I was about to make the point that what a pair of finishes that would have been from Lakesh and Ian, back to back, to go from 1-0 down to 2-1 in front. Lakesh and Vivek having a chat about the shot that went wrong for him. Of course, teammates for India in Morocco. Have another look at this. Quite incredible. Not entirely sure exactly why he was trying to play it with so much side. I guess he felt he was going to avoid everything, but I was with you, Kaz. It was just that soft cannon into the 8-ball. Give yourself a guaranteed shot at the 8-ball then. Oh, cue ball was very close, but nothing else is.
Yeah, and you have to say you don't deserve to make a ball when you butcher the break like that. I think it was only the pace and power that kept the cue ball out of that middle pocket. What it has done is, well, I was going to say, what it has done is left quite a nice chance on yellows, but landing straight on the one across the back cushion meant that if he potted it, you can only really go backwards or forwards, especially when you're straight on a one that's on the rail. So I like that shot. I think it was the right choice. That was the percentage pull back. We're 2-1 behind, but we still have time. I don't need to go chasing a finish that isn't there.
Oh, disappointing for the Macs. They were touching ball on their red, which meant they could come off one cushion and play the loss of turn like that.
Yeah, and there's a point here where a loss means that you're out. So there is a point where I have to say there's only a little over 3 minutes left. They're 2-1 behind. The circumstances say they've got to go at some point. Draw is not really any good to anybody.
Certainly keeps them just about in with a chance of a 4-way 6-red shootout, but that's about all. Wasn't sure that one went, but good try, but that's going to cost them. These yellows are now nice.
Yeah, they have to pull the trigger now, and they have to pull it fast. Yeah, we'll drop it in and play a 3-ball plant.
Oh no. Well, they're okay. They're okay. They didn't want to make both there. They're just on the right-hand one of the two yellows. Thought they'd snookered themselves completely when they hit that.
Watch the cue ball. Okay, wrong side of the yellow, which means you have to screw on off the side cushion. Middle pocket's in play. Doesn't get no side. Ooh, this double means you have a chance of continuing tonight or you're out. And what a fantastic double.
Yeah, Ian's really stepped up in this second match. Excellent double.
If they were to get anything from tonight, this is the reason why. This shot here. They miss that, they lose this match, they're going home. If they break and clear here, they're still in the night.
Yeah, and it is Ian with the break as we go back to the individual frames. Ian and Vivek. Ian will battle it out here.
Yeah.
Now it's 2-2. Neither pair would like to see this scoreline. They're both desperate for the win.
sure on Ian's CV. I've seen that he plays county and won a few things, but if they were to get out of this and somehow get out of tonight, that 8-ball will be the most important one that he's ever potted. But it had to be followed up with a win in this frame, and it's probably going to be followed up with a loss, because Vivek has got a fantastic opportunity and he has got the perfect amount of time to take out these reds. And the reason why it's the perfect amount of time is he can take it out in such a way where even if he was to miss, there wouldn't be enough time left on the clock for Ian to make a counter clearance.
Oh dear. He thought that one went. If it was even tight, you could have taken the other one first shot. That's a big error from Vivek.
Yeah, I'm with you. If it's tight, pop one over the pocket first.
Oh, Ian's going to give him a second chance.
Oh, it's going to give him an even better second chance.
And there's still enough time. 46 seconds left.
There is, but you need to get your skates on a little bit. He's played that nice. Because the cue ball isn't going to be travelling, they're all just little stop shots. There is time. It's the travelling of the cue ball that kills the clock.
Oh, we need to bounce. As bad as he could have left it, but he's okay still.
Yeah, nice. Nice shot. You see, when the cue ball is travelling, that's what eats into the clock. When you can play little stun shots and you're just flicking it about, it doesn't have time to come around and look at angles.
He gets there though, and he gets there, and then goes the gong. That will be the victory for Vic and Vivek as the Macks stay alive.